In the village of Enkay, surrounded by tall trees and green fields, there lived a girl named Aloy. She was very beautiful. Her dark, shiny skin looked like the earth after rain, and her eyes were deep like the river that flowed near the village. But more than her beauty, what made people talk about Aloy was her fancy way of living. Every morning, Aloy would leave her small house wearing the finest clothes. Her dresses were colorful and shiny in the sunlight, and her neck and arms sparkled with gold jewelry. Her hair was always braided with little beads that clicked when she walked. The villagers wondered how she could live such a rich life because her family was not rich. Her father was a farmer, planting maize and cassava for the family. Her mother made simple clothes to sell at the markets. But Aloy's dresses were much finer than anything her mother made, and her jewelry was brighter than anything in the market. The truth was Aloy had no money of her own. Her family gave her love, but they didn't have much. What people didn't know was that Aloy had been stealing from the same villagers who admired her. She liked the way people looked at her when she walked through the village in her fancy clothes. At first, she only took small things like a necklace or a few coins. But over time, she started stealing more. Aloy would distract people with her beauty and charm while secretly taking their valuables. As Aloy stole more, she felt like she could get away with anything. She went to village feasts wearing new, shiny clothes each time. People thought she was rich and had wealthy friends from other towns. But she never told the truth and enjoyed the attention. One day, a new merchant came to the village. His name was Obi, and he was tall with sharp eyes that seemed to look deep into people. He brought many beautiful things to sell: gold, shiny fabrics, and sparkling jewels. Aloy's eyes widened when she saw his goods. She thought if she could steal from Obi, she would have enough to live like a queen. Maybe she could even leave the village and live in the city. Aloy went to Obi's stall, smiling sweetly. "You have such beautiful things," she said, running her fingers over some silk. "I've never seen such treasures before." Obi watched her carefully. "These are not for everyone," he said. "Only those who understand their true value can have them." Aloy's heart raced. She kept talking, but her hand slowly reached for a small chest of gold coins. Just as her fingers touched it, she felt a strong grip on her wrist. Obi had caught her. His eyes were cold and serious. Aloy froze, her mind racing for a way to escape. She had never been caught before. "Do you think you're clever?" Obi asked, his voice low. "Do you think you're the first to try and steal from me?" Aloy tried to pull her hand away, but Obi held it tight. "Please, I didn't mean to." "Enough," he said. "I've heard about you. The villagers think you're rich, but I know what you've been doing." Aloy's heart pounded. How did he know? "You will meet me tonight," Obi whispered. "At your house. I will tell everyone who you really are." Aloy felt sick with fear. She nodded, unable to speak. Obi let go of her wrist and Aloy quickly ran home, her mind full of worry. That evening, as the sun set, Aloy waited. She had never felt so afraid. Her beauty and charm had failed her, and now she was trapped. When Obi knocked on the door, Aloy's heart jumped. She opened it slowly and saw him standing there, his face serious. Without saying a word, Obi walked inside and closed the door behind him. The room felt heavy with silence. "You think you can take from people without paying the price?" Obi asked quietly. "You've been living in a dream." Aloy, she wanted to say sorry, but no words came out. She felt like her whole world was falling apart. "You owe me," Obi said, his eyes looking into hers. "And I will take what I want." Aloy knew what he meant. Obi didn't plan to tell the villagers, not yet. But the price she would pay would be high. For the next few days, Obi used Aloy's fear to control her. He forced her to do things she didn't want to do. Aloy felt more trapped each day. The things she once loved, like her fancy clothes and jewelry, meant nothing to her anymore. She no longer felt happy or free. One night, as Obi made another demand, Aloy looked in the mirror and saw a different girl. She didn't see the happy, beautiful girl who once walked proudly through the village. Her eyes were dull, and her smile was gone. She had lost herself. The next morning, Aloy went to the village square. She stood in the middle, her head bowed, and told the villagers everything. She confessed that she had stolen from them and lied to them. She didn't hide from the shame because she knew it was the only way to find herself again. The villagers listened quietly. Some were angry, some were surprised, but most were sad. They had admired Nneka, and now they saw the truth. When they found out what Obi had done, they chased him out of the village. He had no place in a village that valued honesty and kindness. Nneka stayed behind, ready to fix her life. She worked with her parents in the fields and markets. The fancy life she once wanted no longer mattered. She found peace in living simply and honestly. Nneka learned that no amount of money or fancy things can make you happy if you lose who you are. True happiness comes from living a life filled with honesty and kindness.